Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's junk journal with me, we're going to be doing day 10 of the Junk Journal July challenge. Today's prompt is stripped back, and over in the collaboration we have the lovely Bree sharing her take on today's prompt. So be sure to check out her video. It will be linked down below in the description as always. So stripped back is a really interesting prompt. So it's kind of, along the same lines as minimalism. And I think when I was thinking of what to do for stripped back, something that came to mind was, I get this question quite a lot actually, is when I'm making my junk journals and you use, book papers and all these different amazing materials, and it creates quite a busy background, which I really enjoy to have something to respond to. But I am always asked, what am I supposed to actually do on this page? How am I supposed to journal on a block of text? So one of the things that I really love to push back busyness on a page, which gives a more stripped back feel, is to either layer with some tissue paper or to use some acrylic paint. You can also water it down depending on how translucent you want the effect to be. And I just find that this pushes it back enough where you still get the effect of seeing the text or the interesting papers underneath, but it then gives you that more of a blank canvas to work on top of, so that it's not as distracting for what you want to do. So for this page, I decided to just come in with some white paint and push back some of that text as my base. And for strip back as well, I was trying to keep my collaging fairly minimal. I didn't want to put a huge amount on this page, and I very much focused on the right hand side of the page as well. I did end up adding some stuff to the left, but generally it was all on the right hand side, and again that was to do with keeping it stripped back and sort of not as maximalist as I've been doing in some of my recent pages. And not even just in terms of the colours that I'm using, but just stripping back how much detail I was adding to this page. So I don't think I did any white pen marks or neocolour scribbles and things like that. I was really trying to let the collage papers speak for themselves. And I was using some really neutral tones that were quite complementary. I wasn't using anything that was clashing, in order to go for that stripped back effect. And one thing, now that I'm actually watching this video back, it's quite interesting sometimes when you see after you've done the journal page, and I'm like, oh, that's another way that I've technically responded to the prompt. So stripped back, I did use strips of paper, which probably isn't a complete interpretation of the actual prompt, but it's just interesting. I must have just had that word in my mind because I was using a lot of strips of paper, so that's really interesting just to see as I'm watching this back to do this voiceover. I did also decide I wanted to add some detail, not a huge amount. So I have these little washi I think they're PET tapes potentially, or washi. I have them just from different samples that I've sort of accumulated, and I decided this would be quite nice because it's not a subtle way of adding something to my page. They weren't huge focal images taking over. It was very much stripped back, and I did end up actually coming over them with a bit of diluted white paint anyway to really push them into the background. And then of course I'm adding just some coffee dyeing, again not too much, just keeping it really subtle. And this is something that I really enjoy with the accordion journals, I think, because it really helps to keep my pages cohesive, especially as they all bleed into one another. So I was putting a little bit of the coffee and the paint ever so slightly onto the other page. I wasn't minding if things spilled over.
If I ask you, don't hold back on me. you set it free. In a new light, we can see everything clear. Are we really happy here? There's a shadow rising on the wall. Through a bottle, I can stand up tall. Call up my new friend, ask her if she's doing fine. Am I reaching through the line? Everyone's got different stories about the way of life. Do you ever see the glory of your inner strife? If I ask you, don't hold back on me. Only better if you set it free. There's a shadow rising on the wall. Through a bottle, I can stand up tall. I can stand up.
Thank you so much for watching today's junk journal with me. As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one for the next prompt of Junk Journal July. Bye guys!